Are you tired of sacrificing success for sleep? My name is Dr. Erica Steele. I'm a board certified naturopathic doctor. If you're new to my channel, I talk all things about holistic health, how to have a holistic lifestyle, and then practical applications that you can use and incorporate your life to, again, have a holistic lifestyle. All this month, we're talking about sleep and the impact that it has on mental health. If you're interested in learning more about the topic or want to go deeper than what this video can provide, I do have a free webinar. It is an instant view. There is a link below. Just go ahead and click that and you can watch deeper into that. All right, perfect. So let's talk about really trading success for sleep. And I can relate to this as a truly driven, very motivated, passionate, mission-driven person. I would often find myself at times sacrificing sleep to get more work done. And that can become a vicious pattern, a vicious cycle, and it can really get away from you. I remember early on when I was first building my practice, I literally would work and work and work 18 hours a day, 16 hours a day without even thinking. And I would notice that I would work 45 days in a row before I would just be so grumpy and need a break. And so that type of stress that you're putting yourself under, or even just external stress from bosses or mergers or acquisitions or, company challenges, all kinds of different issues within the workplace that you experience every single day can be exacerbated by not having a good lack of sleep. And I'm sure you've noticed that if you don't get enough sleep, you tend to be, really not as productive, not as sharp thinking, not enough mental focus that you need. I tend to find myself kind of thinking all over the place. And I trick myself, or rather lie to myself, to believe that, if I just work an hour longer, if I just do this, then that is going to pay off. But what is the sacrifice, right? The sacrifice is your physical health. So if your sleep breaks down over periods of time, you're not going to think clearly. You're not going to make good decisions. You are going to be really challenged with all kinds of different symptoms: irritability, frustration, moodiness, and then over long periods of time, it can affect your mood, depression, anxiety, all kinds of different things which can be related to really just a lack of sleep. So I know sleep, sometimes can be missed, but it is a foundational piece. And when you are working towards some sort of success or some sort of achievement or some sort of result, you absolutely want to show up to the party 100% prepared. So that means water check, sleep check, protein check, supplements check. Like, you want to be optimized and ready to go. At least that's what the professionals that I work with really want, is they want to optimize. So let me get a little bit into the data. So there are a couple really cool tech products that can help you track your sleep and your sleep quality. There are some debates about accuracy, but I'm just going to focus on two: the Apple Watch as well as the Oura Ring. So they both have kind of pros and cons to them. I would say that for versatility perspective and the amount of data and then the educational back end, I really like the Apple Watch because it does track and monitor your sleep naturally if you wear it while you sleep. Definitely watch the battery life, because I have found that sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge. So working through that, I think maybe with the new watches, they have expanded upon that. But it can show you things like heart rate, resting heart rate, which is really critical for your stress response, as well as your cardiovascular health and risk. So if you're concerned, let's say about sleep apnea or something like that, that resting heart rate can really help you in terms of clues. I would say average, we want it around 70. We don't want it too low. That can be an indication of chronic stress response. And then naturally, if it's always riding high, then we know that the stress is clearly affecting us in a negative way. So now that we have kind of addressed that, there is also the Oura Ring, which I also like too. And that's a ring, it does have a subscription to it, but it also measures things like your heart rate, but also your sleep quality. So it's gonna measure how often you roll, if you're restful, etc. Again, the accuracy on these sometimes can be debated. debatable, but it definitely gives you some clues into your sleep quality, and really your stress response, because that, of course, is going to impact you, especially if you have a lot of external demands and pressures. The tendency is to kind of internalize it, double down, power through, and then that can have long-lasting health implications naturally, and too, it can affect your sleep. A little brief about, let's say, some supportive agents for, our sleep. I cannot stress enough schedule, but also too, what's unique to this particular patient population is that high-level professionals tend to take a lot of responsibility, personal responsibility. They also take on a lot mentally, emotionally. So I find that kind of at that bedtime, they don't particularly have a routine. Sometimes it's just I fall out, at the end of the night. But if they do have a routine, what they're not including in there is some sort of kind of debrief from the day. I tend to recommend my patients to journal. I think it's an excellent tool, especially before bed. If you are a ruminator, meaning you're constantly running in your head 1,000, scenarios or things that have happened in the past, and you can't seem to let it go, and you just go. One of the things so that you can have a more restful sleep is to be able to, just jot some of those things down that are ruminating in your brain. And then, of course, proceed to take, if you need any supplemental agents. I've talked about in other videos. I'll get deeper into this into the webinar, but some general things: naturally diet, removing food dyes, additives, colors, which is really important and key because it can put stress on the neurological system and impact, your thinking, especially if you have any neurodivergence there to begin with. The other thing to consider is things like lemon balm, valerian, kava, chamomile. Those are just all kind of general things. Naturally, a weighted blanket can also help, especially if you're growing, right, and you are expanding past your comfort zone. I know as an entrepreneur, we are constantly expanding past our comfort zone. And so naturally, your internal anxiety can increase. So sometimes, a weighted blanket can help with that. So I will go much more in depth into different strategies specifically for high-level professionals, as well as all the patient populations that I work with. And this month, again, we are talking all about sleep and sleep response. So if you want to go deeper into this topic, I'd love to have you. The webinar is below. It's a link. It's an instant webinar, so you can totally binge it all day long. And thank you so much for tuning in, and like, share, subscribe for more.